The mind-blowing history of the simulation theory, from Plato to Elon Musk. Welcome to Beat the Simulation. In this video we will be exploring the history of the simulation theory. For centuries, humans have pondered the nature of our reality. Are we truly living in a physical world, or could it be that everything we experience is just a simulation? Join us as we explore the origins of this theory, how it has evolved over time, and what some of the most prominent thinkers have had to say about it. The origins of the simulation theory can be traced back to the philosophy of ancient civilizations, such as Plato's allegory of the cave. Plato imagined a group of people who were chained in a cave, facing a wall where shadows of objects were projected. He posited that these people, who had never seen the outside world, would believe the shadows were real. This idea laid the groundwork for the notion that what we perceive as reality may not be the ultimate truth. Jumping forward in time to the 17th century, philosopher René Descartes famously stated, "I think, therefore I am." This concept of the self as the only certain thing in existence would lead to later philosophers questioning the nature of reality. This radical idea marked a significant shift in philosophical thought. Descartes posited that the only thing he could be certain of was his own existence, as he was the one doing the thinking. This concept would go on to inspire other philosophers to wonder about the truth of reality and whether the external world truly exists. One such philosopher was George Berkeley, who lived in the 18th century. Berkeley was an idealist, which meant he believed that all that exists are ideas and that the physical world is merely a collection of perceptions in the mind. He argued that objects do not exist independently of the mind that perceives them, and that if there were no mind to perceive an object, then that object would cease to exist. In the 19th century, German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche tackled the concept of reality in his work, stating that there are no facts, only interpretations. Nietzsche argued that all knowledge is subjective and that reality is a construct of our own minds. He believed that truth and reality are not absolute, but rather are shaped by our individual perspectives and experiences. Fast forwarding to the 20th century, science fiction writer Philip K. Dick wrote about the idea of reality being an illusion, famously saying reality is that which, when you stop believing in it, doesn't go away. In the 20th century, we begin to see the emergence of the simulation theory. This theory proposes that the reality we experience is actually a computer simulation created by a more advanced civilization. The idea gained popularity in the 1960s and 1970s, as computer technology began to advance at a rapid pace. The philosopher Nick Bostrom is one of the most prominent proponents of the simulation theory, and he argues that if it is possible for a civilization to create a simulation indistinguishable from reality, then it is likely that we are currently living in such a simulation. More recently, the simulation theory has gained mainstream attention, thanks to the popularity of science fiction movies like The Matrix, which depict characters living in a simulated world without realizing it. The idea has also been explored in popular television shows such as Black Mirror and Westworld. One of the most notable figures advocating for the simulation theory is the famous entrepreneur and tech mogul Elon Musk. In 2016, during a public interview, Musk remarked that he believes the probability that we are living in a base reality is 1 in billions. This statement caught the attention of many and sparked a new wave of interest in the simulation theory. Musk has repeatedly emphasized that he is not saying we are definitely living in a simulation, but rather that it is a possibility that should be taken seriously. He has argued that as technology advances and we become more capable of creating realistic simulations, it becomes increasingly difficult to prove that we are not living in one ourselves. One of Musk's key points is that if a civilization is advanced enough to create simulations indistinguishable from reality, it is likely that they have already done so. Therefore, the probability that we are living in a simulation created by a more advanced civilization is much higher than the probability that we are living in base reality. Musk has also pointed out that the development of virtual reality and augmented reality technologies is bringing us closer to creating indistinguishable simulations. He has predicted that as these technologies continue to improve, we will eventually be able to create simulations that are indistinguishable from reality. Despite the controversy surrounding his statements, Musk's views have sparked a great deal of discussion and debate on the topic of the simulation theory. While the simulation theory has gained popularity in recent years, it is not without its detractors. Some scientists and philosophers argue that the theory is not scientifically valid and lacks empirical evidence. One such critic is Sabine Hossenfelder, a theoretical physicist and author of the book Lost in Math: How Beauty Leads Physics Astray. Hossenfelder has stated that she does not believe the simulation hypothesis is scientifically motivated, and that it is more of a fun idea to explore. She argues that the simulation theory is not falsifiable and that there is no way to test whether or not we are living in a simulation. Additionally, She believes that the theory does not explain anything that cannot be explained by existing scientific theories. Other critics of the simulation theory point out that it is difficult to imagine how a simulated reality could be created, let alone maintained. The resources required to simulate an entire universe would be immense, and it is unclear how such a simulation could be created or sustained. Furthermore, critics argue that if we were living in a simulation, we would expect to see evidence of glitches or errors in the simulation, yet there is no empirical evidence to support this claim. Despite these criticisms, the simulation theory continues to be a popular topic of discussion and debate. Some proponents argue that the lack of evidence is not evidence of absence, and that it is possible that we simply have not yet discovered the evidence that would support the theory. Additionally, some argue that the simulation theory is not meant to be taken literally, but rather as a metaphor for the nature of reality and the limitations of human knowledge. In conclusion, the history of the simulation theory is a long and complex one, spanning centuries of philosophical and scientific thought. While there is no concrete evidence to support the theory, it continues to captivate the minds of many, questioning the very nature of our reality. Whether we are living in a simulation or not, what is clear is that the quest to understand the nature of our existence is a timeless one that will continue to inspire thinkers and creators for centuries to come. Thanks for watching.